right then, ladies and gentlemen, I am back on your screens. And now, without taking much more of your time, let me officially go to the first panel discussion of the day. The topic for this session is the digital entourage, necessity or in trend. Customer is king, and in the age of e-commerce, there is a need for a digital entourage to understand the end-to-end journey of a consumer as it provides better insights to an organization, giving them the opportunity to identify customers' pain points and resolve them, in turn, providing them a superior experience. In this session, we will be discussing key points such as qualitative and quantitative data analysis, personalization and optimization, and introducing right stakeholders for CX. And now allow me to invite our esteemed speakers on screen. Please give it up for Mr. Dilpreet Singh, Head CRM and Custom Analytics, the Oberoi Group. I believe Mr. Singh will be joining us in just a few minutes. Also, please welcome Mr. Shankar, Vice President, Customer Experience, Future Generali, India Insurance.
Hi.
A huge round of applause for Mr. Dharmarajan K, Chief Product and Customer Officer, Tata CLiQ. Please welcome Ms. Rekha Nair, Head Airport Service and Museum Director, GVK International Airport. Please welcome Ms. Preeti Singh, Head Customer Service and Customer Experience Management, Axis Finance. And finally, our moderator, Mr. Prateek Sinha, Partner, Experience Leader and Design Thinker, Digital Services, PwC. Welcome to all of our esteemed speakers. I now hand over the further proceedings of this session to our moderator, Mr. Sinha.
Thank you, Nipa. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, leaders, for being here on the panel. And thanks to all of you who are watching this. This is going to be great, so hold on tight. The next 30 minutes will be chock full of information and knowledge that you can put to play starting today afternoon to make those stellar experiences that your customers want again and again and again. Now, right now, there are many things that are changing in this world. And just a little bit of me standing on the soapbox, at PwC, we've been keeping it really tight by focusing on our customers and our customers' customers. And we have been creating growth for them by envisioning and delivering experiences that consumers find meaningful and memorable. We've done that by not just replicating what was there in the world earlier and digitizing it, because digitizing analog processes or what you did earlier has very limited value. We have reimagined the future by getting into the shoes of the customer and then figuring out what would be game-changing for them. Now, you will learn a lot more from all the leaders that we have here. Before we get this going and we do a deep dive, we are going to do a rapid fire question and answer session. And for that, it's going to be tasty, though it's without food, but this is where the spoons and the forks come out, everyone. So guys, Rekha, Preeti, Dharmarajan, Hari, if you're ready, I'd like to see you holding your spoon in your right hand and a fork in the left, please. And so here's the first question. I'm going to ask a question and then the option will be either to show a spoon or a fork, right? So raise one up. If you raise two, you can bang them. If you're
a
not
spoon
decided.
is a yes, right?
I will tell you. So the first question is, do you see COVID as an opportunity or a setback? So I can see a yes, all spoons there. All right, next question. Consumers today desire more human interaction or more automation? Which one will it be? More human or more automation? Okay, all right. Third question. Companies should digitize their current processes or invent new ones. Current processes, invent new ones. You got to do both. All right, interesting. Pretty quick to catch up there on the ideas. Fantastic. So with that little warm up, real quick, here's the first question, everybody. When a consumer says, "Oh wow, that was smart," How did you figure that out? So, how did you figure out what I was going to do or say next? That's the kind of thing you want to make your consumers say. Rekha, could we hear from you how you've made that happen for a public utility space like an airport?
Thank you, Prateek. And with the flavor of the rapid fire and the flavor of experience, I think it was very important for us with the pandemic to kind of, pause and reflect on what is required from an experience point of view, from a customer anxiety point of view. Being in utility space, the life cycle of a customer or the experience is in the hands of multiple stakeholders. It's a multidisciplinary ecosystem. So your experience, customer is one, but your experience is multiple at multiple touch points. So it is important to understand the customer sentiment, and that's primarily from your consumer behavior on your social platforms, what they're talking about, because travel is very personal. And with the COVID, there has been a lot of regulations that has been put out every day. Now, a consumer is confused in terms of which is right, how do I travel, what do the safety norms. There's always constantly, in terms of am I doing the right thing, which flight I should take, what is a normal, processes. Now, that's where your sentiment analysis comes in, and your data plays an information to kind of shift your, be agile to put out the information that the consumer is seeking for, and make it more reliable for them. To give you quote an example, typically our volumes of calls and emails on websites would be primarily on airline related.
Yeah.
COVID, it kind of shifted 360 degree, and it shifted to all the relevant COVID norms, the protocols that is required, the FAQs, and the airport website became a reliable source than even a government or an airline website. So I think that's the shift, that you need to look at your behavior of a consumer and put out content what is relevant to the customer. Yeah.
All right. Let me pass the baton to you, Preeti, and if you could, and after that, I'd like Dharmarajan to go. Could you also weave in to this response? How do you not spook out customers by them thinking, "Oh my God, this also"?
I think it's a very fine line between, having the adequate intellect in our systems to know what our customers are doing and what we can preempt for them. But it can kind of spook them out, because how do you know what I'm doing, what I'm thinking? It's a little uncanny, because if I have to relate one of my experiences, like when I went to ITC, you find over there that when I enter, somebody is greeting me by my name. When I go down for lunch or breakfast, there's another person in the staff who's again greeting me by name. So, I mean, I'm really worried now, because how many of them know I'm here? And I'm not even a very regular at the hotel. I go once in a while when there is some, some seminar, some visit or something to be done. So I actually asked them, I said, before I get into breakfast or anything, please tell me, how do you have all this information? And then we know that, of course, there are back-end systems which are working. There is a card which, when the moment it gets swiped that you're moving out of your room, they know that, okay, the customer's moved out of the room and it's probably going into a lobby space, and everybody knows your name. So while, personalization is something which all of us would like, and we are in this hyper personalization era, so to say, which is happening in terms of products which are coming to us. But yeah, there has to be a very fine balance between what is it that we want to tell customers we know about you. How much do we tell? So basically, I would want that it has to be just that much proactive. You don't need to reveal all the information that the CRM has for you.
Yeah.
You can just, I think the best thing to do would be, which is what we in Axis Finance are, we are starting off in the retail space very recently. So our customer base is smaller. So what we want to do is deliver that kind of personalization with just so much, so that, the customers, we preempt their needs, we do the resolution for them, and that's it. We don't want to give them too much more information about what else can be done or is available.
Yeah, thank you. Dharmarajan, what's your clickstream view of this?
Yeah, so for us, it's a little more trickier problem than some of the other players being digital native with customers leaving footprint for every single action. For us, the problem is reverse. How do I mine through tons and tons of data, start making sense? What Preeti mentioned is a fair point, and we need to maintain that balance. And how we are trying to sort of solve for this is there are a few things we know that customers start expecting. Like, for example, if somebody has come onto our platform and they know that there is a certain brands that they prefer, and they every time filter out, search for those brands. There is a certain price range in which they look at certain products. There are certain styles. They expect us to show those brands and bring them forward because you are currently carrying millions and millions of selection, and they don't want to be spending so much time to sift through tons and tons of data. They expect us to know what they prefer, what they have done in the past, what they browse, what they buy, and bring it to the fore. That is at one end. And to the second, the extreme one is predicting based on multiple buying pattern and browsing pattern. We can predict, which is not possible humanly unless you have the data capability to say somebody buying a pair of shoes of a certain brand would also be interested in a certain accessory which has no relation per se. And these are very powerful insight based on learning which we get and we bring to the fore. All of this, as long as it is adding value to the customer, we continue to do it, and which is where it is important to have a very strong feedback mechanism. I should be able to collect at all points in time the preferences and the journey improvement initiative that we are taking. Is it adding value or is it sort of hindering them? They are becoming a little doubtful. Is it becoming a little spooky? We keep a very tight watch on before what we call in our sort of parlance is how do I get to a customer to do the next best action? It is always about that. How do I do it with least amount of friction and try and remove it? We try and collect a very strong feedback. And second is providing complete control of data to consumers. It is about being transparent. You know exactly what you're collecting. Try and create a visibility and a visualized sort of way where we tell the customer what information I have of her at all points in time, and also share with them how I can use that information for making their life easier, simpler, better. And that way we've been able to sort of get additional information, and also it is available for the customer to delete at any point in time whatever information that they don't want to sort of continue being present with us. And that is a direction that we as a country, we as an industry see that moving forward. GDPR equivalent, etc., will come in, which will help us in terms of having the right balance. We are trying to build it in a fashion that we are always trying to provide better solution to consumers with a lens of having the ability to stop it at any time based on customers' need. So that's how we think that we'll be wearing the hat. But yeah, data can do a lot more than what we think it can. So.
Yeah, it reminds me of this example in the US. It's a long example that when fathers go to buy, there was a big correlation between diapers and beer. A lot of men that were going out to get diapers for the baby would also bring back beer. So yes, those are connections that you may not normally make. And Preeti, you reminded me that, all of us love to be called by our names, but of course it's not just about the name. It's about being treated as an individual. And maybe with you real quick, if you could tell me scale.
I think we lost you.
We lost you.
We lost you.
You lost me. So how do you deliver personalized individual experiences at scale for millions of consumers, but make them feel that you're talking to them as an individual? Dharma, would you like to take that?
Sure, Prateek. So in fact, we've been doing that a lot during the last 2-3 months. To give an example, we had state after state, city after city going into lockdown. Maharashtra was the first one to begin with. The moment the lockdown was announced, and it also we were sort of told for the e-commerce only essential products will be allowed, and non-essential you can't sort of deliver it to consumers. So what we did, when you are sort of firing up our app from any part in Maharashtra, the homepage that you get to see is very different from what other state consumers will get to see. They will still get to see the complete range of products. But if you are from Mumbai or any other city, town, or village from Maharashtra, you will get to see all essential products, grocery items, your masks, and meters to monitor, etc. This is at a slightly broader level how we try and use personalization for a broad stroke. Now, what we sort of take it to the next level is we can create multiple segments. Like, for example, when you come to the platform and what you see as your homepage will have the brands that you prefer, the products that you recently viewed, the items, and I can do it today as a platform for you very differently, Prateek, for Preeti very differently, and so on and so forth. And you would not even know that it is specifically meant for you. And this is optimized at scale. So we can define it. Technically speaking, it is possible for us to do it at n equal to 1. We are still sort of creating smaller segmented cohorts. And we see a huge sort of difference in the engagement level from customers. If I do it vis-a-vis, I don't do it. So it's almost to 2 to 3x in terms of how customers click on some of the items that we share, and then they go on to view. It is not just about buying a product. It is about knowing. It's like browsing or web rooming, which tells us that people are like deeply engaged, and we provide reasons for customers to keep coming back to our platform, and we are sure that they will end up buying whenever the need arises. So
brilliant, thank you. Dilpreet, I want to come to you to see if you could, Preeti will come back right to you after I asked Dilpreet, how do you guys do this in the hospitality business? How does everyone know your name? Or how do you do it at scale?
Okay, so first of all, I apologize. Like, I'm in a very bad network and I'm not able to was able to connect also. So I'm just keeping my video off. Okay, so talking about the hospitality, so I would say hospitality is completely experience driven. It's not about the product or the services which we are providing, but it's all about the experience. Like, whenever you are going to the hotels, whether it is for business purpose or for leisure purpose, you want a situation, because like when you're talking about the hospitality industry, it completely operates on the fundament of home away from home. Like, whenever you are out, you simply want someone to kind of know your needs, anticipate your preferences, and then serve you in a manner where you don't have to ask for anything. Now, the essence of the hospitality lies in service, and in case you want to take it to the next level, which is the personalized service, for that, the basic thing, or the very, I would say, the prerequisite which is there, is the data. So what you have to do is that, like, even if like many people say that personalization is the next big thing, but I differ with that opinion, because like it is a kind of a hygiene these days, and it's not a very new thing. Even if you maybe go 10 to 20 years back, like just a very simple example in a personal life also, like whenever you are out somewhere, you are buying some gift for someone, so you have that knack in the mind. Okay, so like my father likes this and I will be buying this, my mother likes this, I will be buying this. The same thing applies to the business also and to the customers also. Now, how you can do that thing? So there is a clear, I would say, a 3C framework which we have developed, which is capture, cluster, and communicate. When I'm talking about the capture, you need to identify that what all data points are there, what all data is required to make sure that you are able to know your guest, or you are able to know your customers in a more, I would say, refined manner. So you are able to mine for the insights for that thing. Once that thing is there, then you will be doing the clustering in terms of all the segmentation. So I know that these set of people are there who are very much likely to stay in a beach property. These are the people who are very inclined towards the mountains, and these are the people who are kind of staying mostly on the weekends and all. So like once you are able to do that thing, then the communication part comes into the picture, where the technology you have to leverage on in terms of which channel is preferred, what kind of automation you can do, and how real time you are able to engage with the guest. So these are the things which we have been doing. Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Preeti, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Prateek. So what I would like to share is that we are doing we're not doing very great things in terms of using a lot of data for personalization, etc. I want to just share with you one small thing which we are doing, which anyone can do. When we have emails which are going to customers, and in banks and in financial institutions, there are hundreds of emails which are coming. Mostly the email which response which goes back will be, okay, you can get in touch with us at this number on so and so between this time and that time, and the resolution will be given. But here we've tried to make it personal by giving the name of an agent, that okay, you can get in touch with Aniket, for example, and he will resolve your query for you. That's a small little thing, but imagine the kind of comfort that email is going to give to your customer, wherein he knows that there is a name, there is a number to which I can a go-to number, rather than just one universal number where he comes. So that's what I wanted to say. It takes very small things to make a difference
I
over there
love it.
when you come to personalization.
Yeah, it's such a simple yet really powerful example of humanizing the connection
Yes.
amongst people. Yes, Rekha.
Yeah, so while we're talking about humanizing, we are looking only from a customer point of view. My approach or the outlook would be the humanizing has to be with your people first. The moment you humanize it with your people, or give them that same sense and pride, automatically translates into your customer. Somewhere, sometimes the process of data process, we fail to acknowledge that. And I strongly believe an employee experience or an agent experience has a direct link to your customer experience and to your top line of your business. So it's very, very critical, especially in a utility space where we work with under one roof. We have 30,000 employees with multiple employer and employee, but all these people are going to be serving one single customer. So for me, experience would be, or humanizing is to kind of acknowledge my security, who's doing a security check in a human way, or my immigrations, or my customers, or my airlines, they are my customers as well. So I think when you start enabling that sense of pride and respect, compassion, empathy, whichever word we use, which is most required now, I will call it as an emotional quotient with technology, bringing into a hybrid model is where we need to look at,
I think that's such a brilliant point. Yeah, I mean, happy employees would lead to happy customers, and I think many of us intrinsically get that. I would love for maybe Preeti, you to share, or Rekha to share. How do you enable or amplify your employees?
So, Prateek, I'm just picking up from what Rekha just said. That's very dear to us at Axis Finance, customer centricity being one of our values. And the way we have defined customers for ourselves, like I'm sure the others would have also, is of course the external customer, then our internal customers, and then partners with whom we work, the channels. And I want to quote one recent example which happened, which is coming from what Rekha said. So during the COVID times, we have our DSA channels, etc. We had one of the channels in Kolkata, I think, and he was business has been low. He had regular cash flows till about the second wave when that came in, and his business suffered.
Mhm.
The person suffered a heart attack, and there was somebody in our Kolkata office, an SM or somebody who was regularly talking to him. He immediately conveyed this concern to the RSM, who came back and spoke to somebody in the corporate office. Immediately the corporate office responded by looking at what kind of business he has done with us earlier, and then releasing an advance payment to him, so that he could help tide over this crisis. And what I want to mention here is the situation was so bad that he was in a hospital. He was unable to divulge his ATM pins, etc. The family just did not know how to access the money also. They were so grateful. So this is about how you can enable and empower your employees to take the initiative of being more people friendly, how you can help. This is also, I think it's a great example of customer centricity, which I would like to quote to other employees.
Yeah, Thanks a lot. Hari, would you like to come in here?
Hi everyone. It is very intuitive actually, and like it's people who are serving the people. And I think while books have been written on it and so many philosophies on it, it goes without saying that when you have formed a human-to-human bond, then only you can expect the person who is the employee or the partner or the agent to deliver. So in the insurance company that we are in Future Generali, how we cascade that is we have built a set of behavior which helps us to like become a lifetime partner to our customers. I'm not saying that we are there fully, but it's a journey that will continue on. And four things we focus on is having a human touch. We talked about it already, and ownership, because whoever you are getting in touch with at the insurance company, that person should own your case. Simplicity, like to declutter insurance, to bring it to him in a simpler fashion, and then innovation at a scale. So innovation need not be only the big 3 projects that you make for your 3-year plan or 2-year plan, but you enable everyone in the front line to do small innovations, something as simple as like our renewal notices, which were orphaned. The customer was not knowing who's be the right person to contact, and there was one boy, a renewal executive, who was stamping his numbers on all those and sending across. So of course that became a systemic thing later when we realized that his renewal rates are much higher than others. But how do you capture that someone is doing something unique elsewhere and you encourage such behavior? And for that, it's important that you make the customer insights accessible to everyone. It's not only the CEO and the CX team and the people at the C level who need access to this data. If the organization is able to enable the access to all front lines, there are companies like Apple who do that. And I'm happy to say that we also do that. We have enabled that data access to all employees, so they can start their day by reading what are customers talking about them, and feel a pride when the customer has really appreciated him, or like take corrective action with the help of his manager whenever there's a negative feedback. And yes, do go ahead and build ambassadors of the employees and recognize the very, very good experiences they provide, because they are the only assets that will help in delivering exceptional CX. So one can keep talking.
Thanks. Let me go to Dharma. I know he's got to run in 5 minutes. We can continue after that, and we will. But Dharma, what role does data and tech play in enabling humans?
Yeah, it's a huge role, and we use it to the whatever maximum possible way current technology allows. Just to give an idea, today we know how a customer responds or expects a product to be delivered. I'm just giving an example. For us, I'm talking about customer interaction is predominantly once you place an order. One is about the whole order tracking, when to expect the delivery, where to expect the delivery. And once you have got the product, in certain cases, if the size is not fitting, etc., you have to create a return. So the intelligence and the use of data that we sort of try and power and enable our CS service agents and also customers is, for example, for every product that today we ship, we know from Jharkhand, the expected contact per transaction is 2.5 times in comparison to Bangalore. What it means is, if I sell 100 items, I expect about 40 contacts from Jharkhand if I have sold 100 products in Jharkhand, vis-a-vis 15 contacts from Bangalore. And I know at what point in time exactly those contacts happen. Whether it is on day 0, day 1, day 2, how it varies with the category of product. If you have bought a mobile phone, we know that the chances of a contact happening on day 0 itself, because of the anxiety level of customers, are very, very different in comparison to somebody buying a pair of shoes or a new pair of trousers. Depending on that, what we do is we have our proactive and predictive communication mechanism. So which means the intensity with which we inform the customers is different for different category of products. Information, number of times that we share, how things are progressing. All of this helps customers to have the right expectation and understand what product by when they should expect. Same information we make it available for an agent when a customer reaches out to them to know what is the expectation, what are the different interactions the customers already had with our platform, with self-serve, with chatbots and various other tracking mechanism, so that their ability to answer the question even before the customer asks it becomes significantly higher. So if you ask me today, our whole focus is how do I eliminate the need for customer to get in touch with us? With the amount of information and data available, it is not about enabling the agent. So we are trying to make the reason for customer to reach out to us to be really complex. You should be able to solve all simple problems real time and give the power to customer to get it resolved. And nobody would want to get in touch and make your processes simpler, your process easier, make it as friendly as possible. Every notification, even say, for example, a toast message, when you raise a request, it should be clear enough so that you know that there is no reason for you to be anxious. It tells you exactly this is so and so problem. This is the person who is going to address it. It will take about 8 hours. You will get an intimation in so much time. And this is the person who is working on it. You are assured, you know, the problem is getting solved and getting sorted by somebody else. And as a customer, you don't need to get involved. And that is the whole direction. It is about bringing in data, eliminating non-complex, simpler problems solved through technology, and complex issue. You train agents to resolve a problem and not to respond. And that is the direction that we are moving towards, which means I don't tell an agent, how do you solve for this problem, that problem, and if this issue happens, this is how you are supposed to solve. That is not what you're trying to do. We will keep it completely open. Your problem, your task is to resolve the problem, because we know for sure if a customer has reached out, it's a really complex issue. And you have to be empathetic, be in customer's shoe, you design and decide what is the best way of solving. And those agents, what they also are now part of is what we call as very strong RCA culture. So the same team is also responsible for, once you interact, solve the customer problem, to log in and create a very deep RCA and ensure it becomes a part of our product roadmap. And I make it sort of available for customers upfront so that I don't have even that problem coming into us. Customer can get it resolved. But at the same time, increasing the expectation from our service agents to continuously solving very empathetically, keeping it very open-ended, no scripts, and it's a focus on resolution. And that can only happen if you reduce the number of simpler contacts. You can't do it for a very, very large contact base. And we are very conscious of using data to reach there.
Got it. Thanks, Dharma. I want to go to Rekha and Hari to chime in here, please, on how you're leveraging data and tech.
Yeah, of course, data plays a very critical role for all of us in our day-to-day life, per se. From a utility point of view, it kind of helps us in terms of reducing a lot of processing time. So for example, if I were to talk about a queuing time, or maybe a baggage delivery, or the number of calls coming into. So these data insights helps us to also collaborate with your respective stakeholder and go back and tell that, hey, listen, the customer is not getting the desired service level. If somebody is spending 20 minutes or half an hour at a particular counter, or maybe at the baggage belt. So there is data giving us those intuitive insights as to what can be done. Of course, data also helps us in kind of bringing in new service offerings within the ecosystem. A new retail outlet could come out of the data. A new service, a personalized service. Say, for example, we had this anxiety as a travel. No matter how much you travel, there's always an anxiety. Will I get my flight? Will I get a problem in customs? Will I get a problem in immigration? There's an anxiety. Now, anxiety is what has turned out into a business model where we have launched a airport concierge, which is called as Pranam, which is a paid services where anybody can book. Now, if your anxiety is high and you say all you have to do is call this particular number, do your reservation, there's somebody to receive you, to take care of you end to end till your boarding gate, and it is a value proposition that you're giving. And a customer is willing to pay that extra premium to kind of relieve their anxiety. So data plays a very, very critical role. take the next step of the same customer, he's also your potential buyer inside your airport, right? So now I started capturing him. I know his behavior. I know his pattern. He's a guy who, when he travels through airport, gets into duty free, pickups a branded wine. So now I have those information. Anything new coming in, I'm going to reach out to them that, hey, listen, your airport is kind of having this stocked up in your next travel. Why don't you? So I think data plays a very critical role in so many business decisions that it takes. While it is a collaborative effort, since it is a very fluid airport, is a fluid place, and we don't own customer base. Wherever personalization happens, the customer data is being captured.
Great. We have less than 6 minutes left, or 6. So hurry, yes. And I'd like to squeeze in one.
Yes. So I'll make it brief. Like we all know of electricity or fire as a good servant and bad master. So data and technology are also like that. You have to harness them to serve you well. You have to make them good servants, and then only you'll serve your customers better. So at insurance, in future, generally, we have been harnessing it to enable ease of doing business. Like because we do business through partners or intermediaries, to enable them to first of all issue the policies themselves using their own apps and using their own logins through a virtual office. They need not step into the office, which is also an amplified need of the hours. And then making them digitally visible by making them do business easily by providing them things like microsites and also providing them content that they can easily customize, put their tag to, and then share with customers. That is technology. And a real moment of truth in insurance is the claim. So how much you can make it seamless. For example, we do a video streaming based inspection of the vehicle when the claim happens, and we try and settle it basis those pictures and the video at the earliest, whoever wants to go and opt for it. And during the entire claim journey is kept informed of that, because the right kind of data is gathered over there. So what's happening with the claim. So an informed person is a less anxious person. So those ways, there are many other examples, but that's how technology and data can really do wonder when you use it rightfully at the right place.
I want to go for the money shot question. So, the question really is, so what's the ROI on a great customer experience? And I would love to begin with Dilpreet or Preeti, whoever's faster on the buzzer. I'm kidding. Maybe Preeti, you can go first.
Yes, yes. Prateek, there's no, all of us know a happy customer is going to give us 10, 20 more happy customers. I don't know how many, because it's all about word of mouth. It's all about what you're personally experiencing and what is it that you will tell others. Like, so the ROI on, investing on a good customer experience program is immense. Immense is what I can say. I mean, we all know about it, that good customers give us good referrals and good share of wallet and all of that. So all of us know about that.
Yeah. Dilpreet, you want to shed some light on that? And then Hari, Rekha, what's the ROI on a great customer experience?
So when I'm talking about the ROI on the customer experience, like we definitely have to, I would say, divide it into two parts. One would be the tangible ROI, the other one would be the intangible ROI. So tangible is definitely, like, it is very much visible to everyone. Like whenever the frequency of the transactions is going up, or maybe you are getting more and more, I would say, business from the consumer, that definitely shows you are providing a good customer experience, and hence that is kind of working for you. In terms of the intangible benefits which would be there, because I firmly believe, like, when you are talking about the marketing channels, so like all the channels will come and go, but the word of mouth is something which will remain there. So the thing is that the moment you will be providing a good experience and your customer is happy with you, he will definitely be referring to his or her friend circle, and you will be getting more and more referrals from that side. So these are the things. One basic question which comes to everyone's mind is that who exactly owns the customer experience? Yeah. So that is, I believe, one question which is a very risky question, because the moment you try to define that, okay, so like this is the responsibility of a particular department, then everything will go haywire. Because like At the end of the day, when the customer is interacting, he is interacting with the brand and not with the teams. He's not interacting with the call center, marketing, or sales. So everyone holds the equal responsibility, and onus lies on everyone. I'll just take 1 minute to kind of I would say articulate into a kind of a real-time example. Like let's suppose, and this would be applicable to everyone. So you go to any e-com site, be it Amazon, Myntra, or any site. So there would be number of touch points you will be having. So like let's suppose like you try to search for a Levi's jeans and you were not able to find that. In that case, the tech would be responsible because it was not able to provide you a good customer experience. Similarly, somehow you place the order. You were promised that within 5 days you will be getting the delivery, but it took almost 10 days. And that point of time, again, the logistics will come into the picture. Because of that, your customer experience got hampered. You tried calling the contact center, you didn't get the first call resolution. Contact center would be responsible for that. Again, all these things are there, which in turn lead to a good or bad customer experience, and everyone is equally responsible for delivering the seamless and wow customer experience to every customer.
Well said. 2 more minutes to go. More words of wisdom, please, Rekha. Hurry.
Yeah, I just happened to recently come across the quantitative method of measuring the ROI. So it is the CX ROI. I mean, I thought it was very interesting. So it says that 100 into benefit minus investment divided by investment. And when we say it's cost to serve, I say investment, it is investment on training, investment on tech, investment on operating costs. So I thought that was maybe we should start looking at formulas to derive, because I'm sure every CX leader is having cost aspect. Anytime you go with an initiative, this is expensive, so you need to show a value to it. So from that point, I think I will sum up saying that we need to start monitoring the value as well.
Yeah.
If I am to have just the last couple of sentences or so, I'd say CX is like the air. You don't understand sometimes its importance unless you are deprived of it. And
COVID time.
In the COVID times. It is everything. Yes. It is not something which is you set up separately. Absolutely. And before getting paid or coming to the return on the investment, you have to really start investing, and it takes effort over a long period of time. And then only you'll be known worth your salt. And then other things like what we are measuring on this dashboard, like renewal or share of wallet, or be it word of mouth referral, these things would simply flow in. Of course, to build business cases, you have to show the top executive about the ROI, but do not hesitate and look at CX as the only thing. Then other things will simply follow.
Great input. Preeti, you want to have the last word here?
Yeah, completely in agreement with all the panelists on how important it is for us to invest in CX. And I would just like to close with a point which Rekha had initially told us about the human aspect. I think CX is not to deliver CX across. The human element has to be there. Each and every employee has to think about how important he is, what an important conduit he is for delivering customer experience. So while data and all will work in the background, it is people who will deliver the experience. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks a million. I've been enriched. You've enjoyed, you've taken notes. All of these fantastically, reach out to them if you have any questions.
We do not have any questions as of now. If we do.
I think we are losing you.
Yeah.
You can take it from here.
All right. Thank you so much to all of our panelists for such a fun and enlightening session. When industry leaders continue to have such an optimistic approach, it truly sets an example for businesses. My key takeaways from the session was that data is important for course, ease of doing business, but it is the humanizing experience that is truly what matters for a customer experience, because at the end of the day, that is what we all crave, right? A human touch, which is most important. So thank you once again to all of our esteemed panelists for gracing us with your presence today. We truly appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.